Over the Joker change. This should not take too long. There is only one line. Joker now has 950 health, down from 1,000. I already know what you're going to say. I already know what you're thinking. And I agree. Dressing up the Joker in the party man outfit from Batman 1980 fucking whatever old, right? Jack Nicholson Joker in the party man outfit is his best costume indeed. I agree 100%. I'm a party man. I'm a party man myself. Yeah. Gather round. New king in town. Tell him what his name is. Right? Anyways, let's get back on track. The subject of Joker's health. It's the same as all the other health nerfs, right? You just what is his standing 3? Is 50 damage. So you gotta hit a standing 3. One more. One less standing 3 to kill the Joker. As far as how this is going to be perceived and how it's going to affect the meta, I actually like this change. To be quite honest, Joker is irritating, but he's not like he's beatable, right? Like he's not an overwhelming matchup for the majority of the cast. For most of the cast, you can beat Joker. It may be 6'4", but you're not a bitch. You're watching my show on my channel, so you're not a fucking pussy. And if you want to play Joker, he's not unbeatable. But what is interesting about this change and why I think this change is very, very significant. So I've never gone into my deep thoughts on patches. I usually explain them and what they're going to do with the meta going forward. But we live in an interesting time. NetherRealm has been quiet. We have not heard from NetherRealm in a long time. And the first we hear of them, or the first we hear from NetherRealm is, hey, Joker has 950 health. So in the grand scheme of things, this isn't going to change the Joker matchup significantly for most players. It may, in the long run, over the course of 10,000 Joker matches, he's going to lose more often than he used to. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to lose more often, right? He's not really nerfed into the ground. But this change tells me why I think this change is important, is that they have Joker on their radar. So I discussed yesterday NetherRealm's patching procedure as to the way I understand it, as it was explained to me many years ago. So what NetherRealm does is the game is like an Excel spreadsheet, right? All the frame data, damage, all the values are like on an Excel spreadsheet, give or take, right? I don't know exactly how they do it. This is how it's explained. And so whenever you log into the game syncs up with NetherRealm servers, and NetherRealm server says these are all the values for all the things. Okay, if these values are not correct, change them to these values that we have, in order to preserve the integrity of the game, right? So it's kind of an anti-cheat measure, right? And so that way someone can't hack their game and just say my uppercut does 1,000 damage, right? When you log into the game syncs up with NetherRealm servers. It says, uppercuts don't do 1,000 damage. Fuck you. Make that shit right. But it does allow NetherRealm the ability to do hot fixes without having to fucking spend a shit ton of money, right? So a patch usually costs about $10,000 per platform. So you think between PlayStation, Stadia, Xbox, Switch, Steam, what else is Mortal Kombat on? Fucking iPhone? I don't fucking know, right? But that right there, those 5 main platforms, that's $50,000 for a patch. So as you may understand why they don't just throw them out willy-nilly. So they have the ability to do these hot fixes, okay? So they just went in and they just said Joker's health is 950 now. And now when you log into the game, it's going to sync up. There's no patching necessary. The game is going to say, hey, your Joker doesn't have 950 health. Let's go ahead and fix that, all right? It's a very fluid, liquid system that they have. But the significance is that they are watching Joker, and that this is a Band-Aid patch to kind of quell some of the bullshit, to get people to kind of mellow out, and that they probably have more planned for Joker as far as changes go. but those changes could be pretty significant, so they don't want to do anything that would upset the balance of the game too much, and they may be changes that would need an actual patch. So there may be a patch coming and a patch can add or remove data more so than the spreadsheet shit. That's just changing numbers, right? But adding or removing data is different. So maybe they're going to change a mechanic, or maybe they're going to change a move in a fundamental sense that's not just changing damage values. And so they don't want to change any of the damage values or the frame data, because it may upset the balance that they are hopefully working towards with the actual patch that they're going to pay actual money to release to you. So this is why I think that this is significant, and this is why I think that this change, it's not so much the change, it's more of what the change could mean. Now, it could mean that NetherRealm doesn't give a shit, and that's it. Like, all right, you guys don't like Joker, we're going to take away 50 health. But there's other shit that leads me to believe otherwise that I'll talk to later on, right? But I think that this is significant because it means they're looking at Joker, they know that he's a problem, and they went to fix something really, really quickly. Does that mean that there will be a bigger fix in the future? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's kind of my opinion on Joker's changes. Cetrion patch notes, because fuck this character. Fuck this character and everybody that plays her, right? I don't even give a shit if you're my friend. If you're my friend, then I've already told you to fuck off several times anyways, so don't even trip, right? Hey, thanks for the follower. Fucking higher 94. Welcome to the Tragedy Temple. Let's shit on Cetrion real quick. All right. So, patch note, Cetrion now has 950 health. Slightly reduced the damage when blocked and flawless blocked deadly winds and deadly winds amplified. Oh. Okay, first of all, the health thing. We already talked about that with Sheeva and Joker. Okay, at best, you have to do another standing 3. Oh, her standing 3 does 70 damage? Cetrion is above average at her standing 3? Oh my god. Can this character be better at anything else than any other character? Hey, NetherRealm, are there any things that Cetrion doesn't do better than everybody else that we could maybe fix? Because it seems like we fucked up, right? Everybody else's standing 3 is like 50 damage, and hers is 70. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Either way, you have to do like one less standing 3 for every other character other than Cetrion. To kill her, health was 1,000. It's now 950. Most significant change is this shit, right? That shit. They hardly fucking touched that thing, okay? Hardly fucking touched it. They didn't really do shit at all. So, look, right? It does less chip. That's it. Oh, wow. That Amplify does like hardly any chip. Look, so I don't know exactly what the damage values were on this shit. Right? And then this. So she's doing that. That's pretty significant chip. Actually, this is a pretty good change. Cetrion's still bullshit. I still think that they didn't touch her nearly enough. Because you still can only deal with Amplify this shit, right? You can still only deal with that with Flawless Block. There's mind games on top of mind games, but half of you guys can't Flawless Block. So that basically means if you can't Flawless Block, Cetrion beats you. I think that's kind of bullshit. That should not be a barrier to entry for defeating a character. Like, it should be a barrier to entry to defeating a move, but this move is too fucking good that it's basically the core skill of the character, right? Like, you just gotta have that thing. Like, every build uses it. It's that fucking good. That move is too good. It needed to be nerfed more. That's the problem with it. Changing the chip, this is actually a very good change, and I like this change. So don't get it twisted that I'm like, I hate the change. I love this change. I wish there was more of it. But with this change, it means that when Cetrion just kind of does this dumb shit, she's got to do that a lot more. Okay, so right? So she still has the same pushback, which was one of the biggest problems. It's still safe. You still have to Flawless Block. But she can't just chip you into the corner, right? She's going to get, basically, the way it seems that they've balanced Cetrion is that she's a zoner who is so good at zoning and space control, because this is zoning, right? This is zoning. I'm controlling the space in front of me. Even though I'm not throwing a projectile, I'm controlling space. That's zoning. She's supposed to be the best zoner, and zoners win by timeout. So the idea is they do very low damage, but you can almost never hit them. And when you do hit them, it matters, right? So they changed her health to where when you do hit her, it is going to matter slightly more. Not significantly, but over the course of 10,000 matches, it is going to be a factor if you're just looking at statistics, right? It is a significant change over the course of every match being played against Cetrion in the world. Is it going to be significant for you in this one match? No, but if you play against a Cetrion regularly, they're going to be statistically easier to beat over the course of a million fucking matches. But that change to the wind, right? Basically, she can't just do this and just do this, right? And do that and rush you down, and now you're in the corner and you're at half health and all you've done is block from a zoner, right? That's the thing, is she shouldn't be doing a whole lot of damage. I don't think this should be even having that kind of pushback. It should reset to neutral, but a little bit closer than what it does right now, because she shouldn't. Basically, the move is designed to where she spends the bar to get the space, right? That's the idea, is that you spend the bar to get the space, to get them off of you so you can backdash and go back to zoning. But it ended up being too good of a fucking rushdown tool. So they've nerfed it in being a rushdown tool. She could still do the dumbass Cetrion rushdown she did before, but she has to get several more rotations of it for it to be an effective damage output. Otherwise, you're kind of just buying time. It's sort of like negative reinforcement, right? We're going to reward you for actually landing hits instead of rewarding you for letting them block and you just mashing buttons in their face. So it is still a good change. The problem is that, like, this shit is too tall. It should be easily jumped. Like, this should be a lot more easily jumped. And the fact that, like, when she amplifies it, you can't jump it. You have to block it. Like, on a move that already has the utility of giving her so much fucking pushback, and the fact that, like, when she cancels into it, like, there's only certain points where she can flawless block, or you can flawless block and punish her. There should have been more done, but this is going to make Cetrion less irritating to fight, because it's actually going to make it harder for Cetrion to win. Heaven forbid, oh man, no. Cetrion players are going to cry, and their tears are going to taste like roses and fucking honey biscuits and the cinnamon, right? The cinnamon and the honey. Like, you get the... Listen, that's not important, okay? What's important is fuck Cetrion. That's what's important. Okay? You should have known at the start that I was going to be pissed about this shit, okay? That I was going to be pissed that they didn't even fuck with Windy Jesus. Let me pull up these patch notes. Let me explain to you what they did to our boy Windy Jesus. Not a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. Adjusted the victim regions of knee breaker, down and front kick. First of all, you ain't wrapped long enough to be fucking with me. In Netherrealm, you ain't strong enough. So whatever it is you're puffing on that got you thinking that you're Superman, I got the kryptonite and I'll smack you with my dick in the mic. In Netherrealm is characters, not even good actors. Let's go be the outcome. We'll go down upon the factors. They're whack. They're twisted. Windy Jesus is a hoe. He's broken. This bullshit game, everybody knows. Fucking Tom Brady says you're stupid. You be like, so? I love Mortal Kombat 11. I never let it go. Fucking windy ass Jesus. Okay? So, this is why I'm pissed off. First of all, it says adjusted the victim regions of the knee buckler. Adjusted them how? How did you adjust them? Is the victim region further out? Okay, so what they did was this kick. Okay? That kick. They adjusted the victim region. That's the patch note. The fuck does that mean? The fuck is that? Adjusted the victim. Did you make it bigger so it's easier to hit him? Did you make it smaller so that it is harder to hit him? Don't fucking know. Don't fucking know. Why even put that? You shouldn't even put that in the patch notes because you've told us nothing, right? You could have not put that in the patch notes and no one would have known. No one would have been wiser. There's no option. Is there an option for me to pull up fucking hitboxes? Can I see the hitboxes? They used to have the hitboxes in MK9. I don't think they have them anymore. So without seeing the hitboxes and seeing what they were beforehand, right? Because even if I could see the hitbox now, it's not like I recorded a whole bunch of footage of Fujin's hitbox victim region yesterday just to make sure. I did not. Let's be clear. I did not. I have no idea what that hitbox was yesterday, and I have no idea what it is today. That's why this is the stupidest patch note. It's not even that they didn't nerf Fujin, okay? You guys think that I'm going to be mad that they didn't nerf Fujin, and I am mad they didn't nerf Fujin. Or maybe they even buffed him. We don't know. Maybe they made this fucking move godlike. They adjusted it. I don't know what that adjustment is, but if they did buff Fujin, then fuck him even more. Fucking Windy Jesus. They didn't touch any of the dumb shit about him that just makes him an obnoxious character to play. Like, he's just a stupid fucking character that makes the game unfun. Unfun for anybody that's not picking Fujin, Cetrion, or Jackie. They didn't address any of that shit. What they did was they adjusted the victim region of a move, and they did it in a way that it's still a fucking secret. So we're going to cover the next character is Robocop. Okay, we're going to have Robocop beat up Jackie because nobody likes Jackie. All right, here we go. Robocop's changes. I'm going to read it during this loading screen. Now has 1,100 health, up from 1,050. And don't move creep, which is front punch, back punch, front punch, 1, 2, 1. Has 2 more active frames, and is that 5? 5 less recovery frames on block. So let's go and take it to the tape, right? So first of all, the health change. They already buffed his health to give him 50 more health. Now he has 1,100 health. It's pretty significant for a character like Robocop. You may think like 50 health doesn't matter, right? You're like, whatever, dude. You've been saying it all day. It's a standing 3. It's 50 damage. I do 1 less standing 3. I don't even know if I do any standing 3s in a match, right? 1 less standing 3, unscaled in the nooch, not in a combo, in the nooch. I do 1 less. Or with Robocop, 1 more. But the thing is, Robocop, as he's designed as a zoner, his whole game plan is to win on timeout. And the way you win on timeout is having the most health when time runs out. And so with a character like Robocop, who can control space pretty well, keep you out all right, right? And he has pretty decent movement, so he can actually, like his jump is trash, but like his wave dash is pretty good, right? He can get around the screen pretty fast. So that means that you're going to spend most of your match chasing him down, and when you chase him down and finally catch him, your reward will be less significant. You will do less damage than you did before. In the short term, right, it's like a small amount, right? It's not even that much less damage. But in the long term, it is going to make it to where Robocop's as a whole, in the grand scheme of things, statistically, should be able to perform better. And that's what I find interesting about NetherRealm's changes and NetherRealm's patch notes, because they seem to be changing the characters based on analytical, statistical data, right? It looks like they kind of pull up like a flowchart and they say, all right, man, well, like 3% of people that play Robocop are winning. And we designed Robocop to win in this manner, and it seems that they are unsuccessful at winning in this manner. So we will increase his health by this set proportion of health, so that way it will add to this, and then the metrics should allow for Robocop to win statistically more matches in the long term over the course of everybody playing on PlayStation and Xbox Live and Google Stadia, right? Like, it seems like that's how they kind of went. Like, they looked at the metrics, like they fucking run Mortal Kombat like fucking Amazon runs its fucking warehouses, right? Hey, Robocop's rate is down. Robocop's pick rate is down. Okay, we need to increase his pick rate, because if we look at the metrics, Robocops are losing 47% of matches. We must increase his health so that he may win more matches. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that looking at the patch notes and looking at the changes, this is like, it seems like balanced by committee. Balanced by fucking Amazon Red Vest, right? That's what it looks like to me. But this is a pretty significant change, and it is going to help Robocop in the long term. Is it going to help you win more matches with Robocop against your buddy Fred, who just fucking picks Terminator and 50-50s you? Yes. If you play 10,000 matches, this change statistically lets you win like 1 more match against your friend Fred. That's how the math on that shit kind of works. Let's move to the other change, though, which is the 1-2-1, right? So we have this move, 1-2-1. And in the patch notes, if we pull this back up, right, it says that, well, I fucking highlight Rambo shit, right? More active frames and 5 less recovery frames on block. That's actually very, very good. Okay, so 1-2-1, if we pull it out, okay, it's -5 on block, which means it's safe. It used to not be safe. It used to be -10. They said they removed 5 frames of block advantage, right? So it's 5 right now. It used to be -10. The string used to be punishable. This string is now safe. And this string is now in that flawless block territory. So now when I do 1-2-1, right, I can do 1-2-1, and if you decide to press, I can flawless block you and blow you up. Flawless block up to you, depending on what you tried to punish me with. Or flawless block up 3. I can punish you for pressing now with this being -5. Instead of being punished, which is what most people did, was punish. Even still, right? Even still, if you start, now the 9 games have opened up. If you start thinking that I'm going to flawless block after 1-2-1, you can start going for grabs. You can start delaying your string. You can start doing other stuff. This actually made a buff to this shit, right? This shit actually got buffed. Because the shield, it's like, you know, people say the shield cancels are like a gimmick, and they are, but there is still some utility in the mind games of using the shield cancel. That's why I still keep the shield equipped when I play Robocop, even though I don't rush down with him too often. And this is actually a pretty significant buff to the shield after 1-2-1, because now they're going to be delaying after you start flawless blocking them for poking or pressing. After that, they're going to start doing the delay, right? They're going to press later, right? Instead of pressing right away, because you're going to flawless block them, they'll wait a sec and then poke afterwards, or they'll do something slower, like they'll press immediately after your string, but they'll do it with something really slow to catch you tapping the block to the flawless block, in which case you're going to get blown up, your block isn't going to work. So now when they start slowing it down, that actually gives you an opportunity to come out with that shit. You can just kind of hit confirm it there. If they're going to wait, it all depends on when you make the read. You can make the call out and they have to react. Like, the shield is very slow, but they have to react to it. And if I do the shield cancel really quick and then just go in for a grab, I've already stolen their moment, right? The idea is I throw out the shield. They think that the shield is going to come out. They're not going to push a button. I fucking cancel it. I dash in and grab. It's a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that works more often than not because people don't expect that kind of shit out of a zoner. So that change is pretty significant because it opens up Robocop's ability to flawless block, which means that Robocop will now be playing Mortal Kombat 11 at high level, at least as it relates to the 1-2-1 string. Robocop can now do the same shit that everybody else can do with their jab string, which is fish for flawless blocks and play that. So this is a pretty good buff. I think overall, this is actually a pretty good patch for Robocop because now he's going to be a little bit harder to kill. Right, and that's not too significant, but when you look at it outside of the vacuum in the course of a whole match, right, a good Robocop zoner is going to keep you out for a long time. And now when you do get in, you're rewarded less. So you can't look at that as anything other than a decent buff. And then as far as the 1-2-1, it just buffed Robocop to where he now plays like everybody else. So that's Robocop's patch notes. These Rambo notes, right? Rambone, Rambeezy, Rambizzle. Let's get them up on screen and discuss the patch neasels for sheezels of the Rambeezel. Rambo, first blood, forward, front punch, back punch, has 3 less frames of recovery on block. So, what does that mean? Let's get Mortal Kombat back up, okay? This move here, forward 1-2. Okay? 3 less recovery frames. Was it 3? Did it say 3? Has 3 less recovery frames on block. Okay, that's not bad at all. Not bad at all. So we look at the frame data here. Forward 1-2. Oh, the chat's in the way. Let me get rid of that. There. Forward 1-2. -7 on block. Used to be -10. So it used to be punishable. Now it's barely punishable. Like Sub-Zero and Jax can down 1 you if their timing is within 5 frames of it. For the most part. But basically, they made First Blood into Kung Lao's forward 1-2. So if you took Kung Lao and you forward 1-2, right? If you made that have a third hit, that's a combo extension. That's pretty much what they did with that. Forward 1-2 is now slightly less punishable. You can fish for flawless blocks on the stagger if you think your opponent's going to press. So that's a very good flawless block setup there. You used to not really have that because most characters would be able to punish that string. This is a pretty significant buff to Rambo because this is his forward advancing 10 frame mid, right? Forward 1 is, it's 11 frames. This is forward advancing 11 frame mid. So it's about as good as Joker's forward 1-4 with less range, but also leads to a combo that's hit confirmable, right? So it's still, this is one of his more important moves that a lot of people didn't utilize. He was designed to abuse this move. That's kind of what they wanted Rambo to do. Is kind of like do this dumb shit and like fish for a combo. That's what they want him to do. And then because this is a mid, you can do your grab gimmicks, right? So they've just basically made Rambo do the thing that he's supposed to do a little bit better and a little bit more consistently with that change. That all in all is a good buff. That's actually one of the buffs I would have done. I would have done that and made forward 1-2 safe. And they made it safe enough, right? It's only -7. So it's still punishable depending on matchups. I think that that's cool because it makes you have to learn your matchups. But it's like safe enough to where if I overextend, right? So if I do like forward 1-2 and you block it and I try to do a down 1, like I actually am taking a risk, but there's still an opportunity, right? Because I can flawless block out of it because it's only -7, then you're going to hesitate to attack, right? If you hesitate to attack, I can stick out a down 1, steal a turn again. That's just the way this game is supposed to be played. So Rambo right now is just like, with this one change, he has just been added to Mortal Kombat 11. That's basically what they did, was they added Rambo to Mortal Kombat 11 because they made one of his core moves actually function like a core move. The other change, though, right? Diggity Diddy Boppin', Diddy Boppin'. That's what they named it? It's been decades since I've watched Rambo, so that is probably significant to the movies, but I'm an idiot. All right, away, back punch, back kick. Okay? Has more pushback on block and 5 more block stun frames. So let's pull this move up. Let's take a look at it and let's discuss what that means. It's this, right? Boom, boom, right? This is a really good move, right? So his back 2 is really good. It's like important. It's 11 frame. It's an 11 frame mid, right? And you can kind of hit confirm into a combo off of that, right? You can do this. Into that sort of shit, right? That's kind of the combo ender thing, but it's also a really good mid, a really good hit confirmable mid. Has shittier range than forward 1, I believe. I think forward 1 has better range, but they could be pretty close. But what they did, right? Boom, boom, boom. Let's set spawn to block. Okay, we set spawn to block, so they changed the pushback. Has more pushback. Okay, so when I do this, it pushes them back further. So this move, right, I don't know how I feel about this change. So it's -1 on block. So they removed some of the block stun frames. So it used to be -6 on block. It's now -1, but they pushed you back further. So what it looks like NetherRealm wants you to do is do this, right? And now you're at -1, so it's not your turn. But you're not minus enough to where they can really like blow you up if you press a down poke. Like they kind of have to know that they're only -1 and can press because of the pushback and all of that and like the long recovery. It looks like the move is more plus than it is, but it's not. It's -1, so you can press a lot earlier. So the idea is you do that. It looks like it's plus, but it's not. They can press earlier. You can stick out a poke, steal a turn. So the idea is you use this, boom, stick out a poke, steal a turn. If their timing isn't on point, right, because it's only -1, if their timing isn't on point, you'll interrupt them. You'll hit them with a poke. But because of the pushback, you're not going to get a whole lot, right? So on that, you're not going to get, you can get a down 1. Yeah. All right, you could get a down 1. I was thinking you would have to, because of the pushback, you'd have to get a down 3. I don't know how I feel about this change. On the one hand, like, because of the pushback, you're not really going to be able to flawless block if they press afterwards. But on the other hand, like, being -1 is actually really strong in this game. If you're -1, that's like almost being plus, right? Because the way, like, offline, this is pretty significant change. Online, like, losing 5 frames when you guys lose 5 frames because of lag anyways half the time, this isn't really going to change Rambo for online warriors at all. Offline, it's going to add to the mind games. I don't think that this is a buff or a nerf. I think that this is something to make, like, they buffed the move. I mean, it is a buff in the sense that it's they made the move better, but I don't know if this is a significant buff. It just seems like this is a move that NetherRealm, again, like I said in the Robocop video, it looks like the metrics showed that people weren't using this move enough, so they buffed it, like, insignificantly to maybe encourage people to use it more. That's what I think, is that it's like an insignificant buff that doesn't change the move on a fundamental level, just to kind of make you want to use it. I notice with a lot of, because people say that Rambo's like the worst character in the game, and I noticed that a lot of people, like, in doing that, right, people kind of just, like, do, like, the spammy shit with Rambo, right? Let me do the fucking grab shit. Let me do this fucking dumb shit, you know? Like, the spammy shit, they don't really explore the whole command list with most of their characters. They just go on YouTube and they look up some idiot's 10-minute guides on how to explain a character. I don't know. There's some fucking idiot on YouTube who fucking makes these clickbait fucking videos that, like, you can learn a character in 10 minutes with a bunch of spammy shit. Fucking retard, right? That guy, fuck that guy. I don't know whose channel it is. I don't follow other Mortal Kombat content creators, but I did hear about that guy from the grapevine. He's a piece of shit, right? So this is kind of NetherRealm's way of saying, don't use any of my YouTube guides, use some other moves. That move already had a lot of utility, though. It's a good combo ender. It's good, safe anti-breakaway. But I guess they want you to use it more in the neutral. And I think that's what that change is.